starting from his teenage years. Carl Russell's life took a harrowing turn on New Year's Day in 2010, when he was the victim of an ultra-violent home invasion. Two masked men burst into his Vale residence.
In the heart of Liverpool's Vale neighborhood, a chilling crime unfolded on the morning of October 7th, 2018. Carl Russell, a 27-year-old man with a complex past, was gunned down in broad daylight as he and his girlfriend were getting out of their car. The assassin, a cyclist wearing a high-visibility jacket, executed the hit with calculated precision before disappearing into the urban landscape. This brazen act shocked the community and highlighted the evolving tactics of gangland violence in the UK.
No one has been formally charged, and despite a £20,000 reward being offered, this murder still remains unsolved. Condolences. Stay safe.
Carl Russell was no stranger to the criminal underworld. At 18, he survived a previous assassination attempt when masked men burst into his parents' home and shot him multiple times. In 2010, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for possessing a loaded Glock pistol. Despite these incidents, Russell was described by his family as a lovable rogue who cherished his loved ones.
The streets have a long memory, and Carl's name carried weight. When you've built up a history of crime, you're bound to make enemies. And Carl had plenty. Every job, every prison stint, every beef, it all added up.
On the fateful morning of the murder, Carl Russell was on day release from HMP Thorn Cross, a Category D open prison in Warrington. These types of prisons allow prisoners to leave on day passes, typically for work or rehabilitation programs. Russell, while on day release, stepped out of his car with his girlfriend and was ambushed by a masked gunman, marking a tragic turn in his life. He was shot multiple times in the head and torso before the killer made a swift escape.
The gunman opened fire. Multiple shots rang out in broad daylight.
The assassin's actions were carried out with chilling precision. He approached the target on a bike, wearing a high-visibility orange jacket with black clothing underneath, which allowed him to blend into the environment. The assassin shot Russell several times and calmly fled the scene, evading detection. The act was methodical, leaving no trace behind except for the CCTV footage that captured the suspect cycling away. This use of a bicycle for a getaway was a significant deviation from the usual high-speed car chases associated with gangland killings.
Liverpool gangster Carl Russell was only 27 years old when he was fatally dead while getting out of the passenger side of his girlfriend's car outside his family house on October 7th, 2018.
The attack took place in broad daylight, with children playing nearby. Despite this, the assassin showed no hesitation, underscoring the audacity of the crime. Emergency services arrived promptly, but Russell was pronounced dead at the scene. His girlfriend, though injured, survived the attack.
The paramedics arrived, but there was nothing they could do. Carl Russell was pronounced dead at the scene.
Merseyside police launched an extensive investigation, appealing to the public for information. CCTV footage captured the suspect cycling away from the scene, and authorities released images in hopes of identifying him. Despite arresting 3 individuals in connection with the case, no one has been charged with Russell's murder. In 2023, Crime Stoppers offered a £20,000 reward for information leading to a conviction, emphasizing the community's desire for justice. Police described the suspect as a white male in his late 20s, of medium build, dressed in black beneath a high-vis orange jacket with a reflective band. They believe he has vital information about the murder.
Then he circled round the car and his whole demeanor changed. The triggerman raised his arm to reveal a 9mm semi-auto pistol, and then he squeezed again and again and again.
The use of a bicycle in Russell's assassination highlighted a growing trend among gangland hitmen in the UK. Bicycles offer a stealthy and efficient mode of transportation, allowing assailants to move quickly through tight urban spaces, avoid traffic, and evade surveillance. The bike allowed the killer to escape undetected, an increasingly popular tactic seen in other high-profile cases. This method has now become a signature move in organized crime, demonstrating a shift in how crimes are carried out and the changing nature of gang violence in the UK.
By the time he was gunned down, he had built up a long list of rivals, and in the world he moved in, grudges don't die easily. His execution was no random act. It was planned, precise, and personal. But the real question remains: who wanted Carl dead, and why?
Carl Russell's mother, Marie, spoke publicly about the profound loss of her son, saying, "My heart was ripped out that day. The emptiness and pain I feel every day. No parent should have to bury their child." Her emotional plea underscored the personal tragedy of the event and the devastation it caused his family. Despite the brutal nature of his past, Carl's family continued to express their grief and demand justice for his death, shedding light on the emotional toll that violent crime has on the loved ones of the victims.
As members of the public rushed outside to help Carl Russell, now the triggerman was so vicious and vengeful that he did not mind doing a K in front of children who were playing football nearby. Now, in the aftermath of Carl Russell M, 3 people had been arrested in connection with the M.
In 2023, Crime Stoppers offered a £20,000 reward for information leading to a conviction in Russell's murder. They emphasized the guarantee of anonymity for informants, hoping this incentive would encourage people to come forward. The initiative aimed to break the silence of those who may have crucial information but feared retribution, ultimately helping to bring justice to the victim and his family.
Within seconds, the gunman was gone. He pedaled away through Liverpool's winding streets, disappearing before anyone could react. The high-vis jacket and bicycle ensured he wouldn't stand out in the city's surveillance-heavy environment.
Since then, numerous witnesses have been interviewed and hours of footage from across the city have been collected. Yet, the investigation is still ongoing, and there are hardly any solid clues. As a city that's already struggling with a rise in petty crime, the police authorities are worried.
Carl Russell's murder became another open case gathering dust in the archives. For those still active in Liverpool's criminal world, the hit was a sign of shifting power. Old rivalries rarely faded completely.
Russell's death has also sent shockwaves through the Vale community. Residents expressed fear and outrage over the violence occurring in their neighborhood. Authorities have since increased efforts to combat gang activity, implementing measures to disrupt criminal networks and prevent further bloodshed.
A search of his home revealed a loaded Glock pistol, ammunition, and other incriminating evidence. The weapon was later linked to 3 separate shootings in the area. Maybe Carl was not as squeaky clean.
Despite the passage of time, the investigation into Russell's murder remains active. Detectives continue to appeal for information, emphasizing that even seemingly insignificant details could be crucial. They hope that changing allegiances and the passage of time may encourage witnesses to come forward. However, there is also another side to this coin. The fact that some people, especially those who saw the murder fight, are too afraid to get involved.
No one has been formally charged, and despite a £20,000 reward being offered, this murder still remains unsolved. Condolences. Stay safe. Safe.
Media coverage has played a significant role in keeping Russell's case in the public eye. Documentaries and news reports have highlighted the circumstances of his murder, the ongoing investigation, and the impact on his family and community. By constantly bringing the case back into the media spotlight, it has ensured that the pursuit of justice remains a priority for both the public and law enforcement. Russell's murder is not an isolated incident. Other gangland hits in the UK have employed similar tactics, including the use of bicycles for quick getaways. These cases underscore the challenges law enforcement faces in combating organized crime. The use of such low-profile methods highlights the growing difficulty for authorities in tracking and intercepting criminals.
Detective Chief Inspector Jason Pye, who is leading the investigation, has expressed hope that changing allegiances within Liverpool's criminal networks might encourage someone to come forward with information.
The murder of Carl Russell serves as a stark reminder of the evolving nature of gangland violence in the UK. The calculated use of a bicycle by the assassin highlights the adaptability of criminal tactics, while the public execution in a residential area underscores the audacity of such acts. As authorities continue to investigate and the community grapples with the aftermath, the quest for justice remains paramount,